Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Meta Cafe. Grab your cup of coffee or your tea. Got my handy dandy Gemini cup, and sit back and let's chat about what is happening up in the stars above, looking ahead at the week. And literally, to me, this looks like a pretty quiet week, although I dare say underneath it all are a bunch of transits, a bunch of weird things happening. So I would expect that from time to time, perhaps, things will pop up and create some havoc for you. I had this experience already once this morning as the morning was going along. I was getting ready, and I suddenly had to contend with a husband who got all out of sorts over something, and I ended up having to try to bring him down, talk him off the ledge. Ultimately, I just said, you know what, get out of here. I don't want to deal with your problems because I just don't want to, right? Sometimes you just got to say, okay, have your tantrum, go on. I have things to do. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? So today may be one of those kind of days where you have to just sort of draw that line and say, okay, I get it. You're out of sorts. Go for it, right? Just have your moment. And I need to go do whatever it is that I need to do. So that is all Sun opposing Uranus, because today the Sun at gate 28, which is already a scritchy, itchy sort of gate, is opposing Uranus at the gate of nurturing. I always find this interesting, right? So nurturing, caretaking, feeding, clothing, etc., right? We take care of one another. But sometimes where does that begin to shut off your own energy or feed all of your energy into that without getting anything in return? And not that I am expressing that I need to have something in return, but sometimes you just got to know when to draw that line, right? When it's just, there's no reason to carry on. So today, carry on the fight, carry on the struggle. Remember, the South Node is still sitting at the gate of fight. And that means that with the Sun at 28, we've got the entire channel of struggle in focus. Here we go. I printed up a new human design chart for us today. And there we go, right? We have the two centers here, the root center at here's gate 38 connected to the spleen over here at gate 28. So we have that entire channel. In fact, it is the only defined channel in human design, at least on in the moment. For you as an individual, you may have that channel already defined. You may have part of it defined, but the energy for fight and for struggle are so close to the surface, and it may pop up especially on a day like today, at inconvenient times. So just beware, right? It doesn't change the way I feel about my husband, except in the moment. And I'm just willing to let it go, right? Just let it go. So anything that comes up that's irritating or makes you irritable today, you may just have to choose whether you're going to let that fight or that struggle keep you going and going and going, or are you going to release it and let it go and just say, okay, get over it, and I'll talk to you later. So yay, right? But that is just today. It may have begun yesterday and been in the works as the sun the sun was in Scorpio, but moved in with the moon in the new moon last evening. I actually I got restless right around 8:30 or so, and I stood up and I started walking around my house, and then I went, oh, it's the new moon. And that was exactly how I experienced it, was this sort of restless energy. And of course, that would be because the sign of Scorpio is in a square to my natal sun in Gemini. So I always seem to have much more restlessness when the sun or the moon or a lot of planets, such as there are right now, are moving through the sign of Scorpio. No weird dreams, though. No weird dreams to speak of over the weekend. I hope everybody else had a nice weekend. Let's see who's joining us this morning. We have Amy and Debbie Hedden. Good morning, Colleen and Christine Erickson. Nice to see you, Christine. Good afternoon to you over there in Europe. So let's look. Today we start with the moon in Scorpio. Yay, right? Not. Some of you might really enjoy Scorpio energy. For me, though, it is so intense and it just drives me into having to sit sometimes in that underworld kind of energy. And, I'm just not comfortable always in that underworld energy, unless, of course, I choose to go there. If I choose to go there, great. But if circumstances send me there, I'm not exactly thrilled with that idea. But today we also have the moon in a sextile to Saturn and Pluto. So there's a purpose behind all of that. And it may be able to help us see what's left to let go of in order to be able to move forward. And it is also the moon today trining Neptune. So our spidey senses are high. We are on alert. We are in tune. We are understanding things before they happen, or we are even, being able to see into the future and being able to, tap into the unseen realm at an easier clip today. And then that sun opposing Uranus has a specific question. And, it's interesting to look at our weeks through questions, right? Because they give you something to contemplate. And the contemplation for today, maybe even for the entire week here, is what does freedom mean to you? Remember, Uranus is a planet that's trying to free us to break the chains that hold us to the past, that sort of upset the way things are, so that you could see how they could be. So we have the sun, the full force of your light, or our identity here on the planet, opposing a planet that's totally invested in your awakening. So what are you awakening to? Well, freedom. That's one of those words that we could say is the key word for the week. And what does that freedom mean to you? What does it look like to live a life in freedom? If you were going to create real freedom in your life, what would it look like? Where would you be? Who would you be with? Where would you go? And who would you let go of? What would you let go of? What are those chains that are binding? And these are all really great questions for contemplation as we move forward into this week. Now, if we look ahead, and I'll come back to today, if we look ahead at the week, really there's three big things, and they're not even really that big. Well, one is. On Wednesday, we have Mercury conjunct Venus. Both of them are conjunct at the gate 14 in your human design, which is a gate of money, making money. And so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in our lives. We're going to go digging into that a little bit deeper as Wednesday gets closer. Thursday, we have Mercury turning retrograde. We've been in that shadow now for about 2.5 weeks, and it's time to get into that retrograde. And again, Mercury is in Scorpio. Scorpio likes to go deep and is intense and is passionate, is interested in renewal and regeneration. And you can't get into renewal and regeneration until you let go, right? So we have this process of elimination that's also occurring in our lives. What are you eliminating in order to be free, right? To be free. And then after that, we also have on Thursday, the end of the Pleiadian week, which I find interesting to have that happening on the last day of the month, All Hallows Eve, Samhain, and also the day that Mercury turns retrograde. So it seems to speak to us about going deeper as well. And the end of the Pleiadian week just means that we've reached the end of the 13-day cycle, and we are at the top of the spiral, ready to move on up to the next level and begin that spiral of the next round of our evolution. And then on Friday, Venus moves out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius, changing the nature of what we value, how we relate to our money, and also how we are in our relationships. So, albeit an interesting week, it isn't a particularly difficult week, although Mercury retrograde, of course, always comes with that little price tag that says, what do you need to reevaluate? What did you forget? What do you need to pick up on? And causes us to slow down so that we can take care of all of those details. So another thing that's going on today is that we have a Mars in conjunct to Neptune, Mars is a planet of action, and Neptune, as you know, is spirit, but also confusion and doubt. In fact, Neptune is sitting at the gate of doubt. And while it is true that we have a lot of energy right now about looking at what would make us free and how is it that we want to move forward, today we may feel some uncertainty about what it is that we seem to know that we need to do. And maybe it's not the uncertainty so much of what we need to do, but of doing actually what it is that we need to do in order to move on freely. So that's always interesting, isn't it? Right? We kind of are, that's an inner battle that rages within us every time we have to make a decision of some kind of importance. So if the question is, what does freedom mean to you? And partly it means that I need to let go of this, or I need to move on. Today may be the day where you recognize that, you hear that, you see that, or you intuit that, but then it can create some uncertainty about what all that means to you. What if I let go of that job? What if I let go of that person in my life? What if I let go of doing things in the same way every day? And what is the uncertainty about? Well, it's your mind that gets all into a twist over things that change, right? Your mind begins to waffle and to question and to run the rat race, right? Round and around with the thought, oh my gosh, this is so scary. Then we have plenty of energy sitting in the spleen. In the spleen in your human design can double, those gates in the spleen can double as paralysis points or fear gates, right? Where the fear can become so palpable. And in the spleen, since it also is related to time, in the moment that you choose to feel that fear or that shadow energy and push through it and do whatever it is you wanted to do anyway, the fear evaporates. It's almost like it just disappears because the time is now, right? The spleen, as it represents time, is in the now. And what you choose in this moment is all that counts. If you choose to stay in uncertainty or caught up in the chains that bind, then likely that carries on. But when you choose to let go, and even if you may have confusion or uncertainty about what comes next, you've made a decision, right? And that pushed you through that fear or that shadow energy. All right, let's see who else is joining us. Amy and Peggy Mulcahy, good morning. I think you might be new, Peggy, so welcome. And it's delightful to see you here this morning. Suzanne Fulmer, good morning. Allison, good morning, my friend. It's good to see you. Amy says, yes, I've been feeling very confused about how to move to the next chapter of my life. Suzanne says, are we still going through fear gates? Oh, yes, we are, Suzanne. Amy, I hear you. And she says, my best friend Julianne Michelle is here. Hi, Julianne. I don't see Julianne, but welcome anyway, right? Welcome. And thank you for sharing this with your friends, Amy. I really appreciate that. Good morning, Dion. Good morning, Linda Crouch and Trisha Gelder. Great to see you ladies out there as well this morning. Linda, I got your picture. She sent me a picture of her receiving her energy almanac, and it was so exciting. Linda, I'm going to, if you're okay with it, Linda, I'm going to post your picture. I know you get sensitive sometimes about the way you look, but you look so beautiful in that picture and so excited that you have your energy almanac. I hope you'll be okay if I post that picture today for you. Anyway. And any of you who have your energy almanac already, if you want to send me a picture, do. I think it's great. It's kind of fun to see you with your energy almanac. I have about 10 of them on their way to me, and hopefully I get them sometime today or tomorrow. Not that I need 10 of them, but I want to give them, I shouldn't even say this out loud. I have some people I would like to give them to as gifts for Christmas and upcoming birthdays. So there we go. All right. How is everybody feeling about the day? You're welcome, Peggy. How's everybody feeling so far about the day? How did your new moon go? Let's talk about that a bit. Like I said, I tapped in at the moment of it, but really this is my, 8:30 at night. I'm sort of winding down my day. I had a very busy weekend, so I was certainly not necessarily thinking about what I wanted to manifest in this or what my intentions were. But today is a great day. And you really have about a 48-hour window with a new moon, with a full moon, through which you can, starting at the moment of the new moon, by the way, you don't want to start before the new moon, but 48 hours from 8:39 last evening, my time, West Coast time, until 2 days hence. So until at least tomorrow night at that time, where it's still really powerful manifesting energy. And guess what? In today's Pleiadian-Earth energy, it is a day of the 10. The 10 is manifesting energy. For those of you who are new and don't recognize the name, the Pleiadian-Earth energy, there is a calendar based on the Pleiadian-Earth, and it is a wonderful calendar. So here's what it would look like on the front cover, the Pleiadian-Earth energy calendar of 2019. And let's see if we can pull up what October looks like. I like to show this periodically because you get a picture of what the month is about. And then if you look at the days, we've got the Gregorian days there, but you'll see in bigger numbers, like here is today down here. We are at, there we are, 10, right? 10, breathing. That's the energy of today, 10 breathing. So up in the top left corner, we have the actual Gregorian day, but then we have the Pleiadian-Earth energy day. And the Pleiadian-Earth energy day is made up of two specific energies. The number is the universal energy of the day. That means that whatever planet we might be on, no matter where we are in the universe, no matter what life form, we are all resonating with this energy of 10. And the 10 is the energy of manifesting. So it is almost a caution about making sure you know what your mind is on. What is your mind focused on? Because what you're focusing on, what you're putting your attention on, is what is manifesting very quickly. So it is incumbent upon each of us to hear what's going on in our minds and to be able to direct them as in our thoughts toward that which is what you really desire, and not what you are afraid is going to happen, or holding on to the old instead of being willing to move on to the new. Now, the other energy, breathing energy, is the new round. It's the first day of the new round of earth energies. And breathing energy is about creativity, about starting new things. So we have the Pleiadian-Earth energy. The actual earth energy is really resonating with being able to start something new. We have the new moon window that validates that as well for us. Then we have the 10 universal energy of manifesting with us. So all in all, today would be a really good day to focus on those rewritings, right? The rewrites that we talked about last week, where you get in there and if you've got a story you're telling yourself, rewrite it. Even an experience is rewritable, right? Because we've all had a reaction to whatever it is. And you can rewrite your reaction. Yeah, I saw myself behaving XYZ, but I know that in my heart of hearts, I really could be this. And this is my, next time I'm faced with this situation, I am, so happy to say that I behaved differently, that I responded instead of reacted, blah, blah, blah. You get the picture, right? You get to rewrite your stories. Linda says, I have a better picture. Awesome. Send that to me. Julianne, there she is. Debbie Hedden said, received my almanac a couple of weeks ago. Take a picture and send it to me. Catherine Worcester, good morning. Amy says, did a ritual last night releasing bad habits and opening myself up to new things. I posted on my Instagram story and highlights if anyone wants to watch on there. Great. Thanks for letting us know that, Amy. Debbie Tibbetts, good morning. Allison says, I woke up feeling great, and the song today is the best day of my life. Don't know what that is all about, but I'll take it. Yeah, exactly. Debbie says, good morning. Amy, Debbie Hedden, me too. Can't wait. Get it out. Take pictures. Send them to me. Linda, I just sent another one I think looks better. Did I get it? Oh, I did. I'm just going to peek at it really quickly. Oh, that's cute too. That is a very good picture. But your other one was good too. Linda, you are just beautiful. So send me all your pictures. All right. Okay, so what else can we look at then for today? Let's take a look at the human design part of the week. I think a part of what I'm feeling this morning may be there are several planets that made moves from one gate to another this morning, and sometimes that just is very disruptive, very disturbing almost, as the energy shifts from one gate into the other. Well, Mercury's already been at gate 14, but Venus shifts this morning to gate 14. Mars shifts to gate 57. Jupiter shifts to gate 11. Saturn shifts to gate 54. So a lot of shifting and changing going on in your human design. So let me show you the human design chart for the day, because I think there's an interesting story here. So we're gonna look at the story, because remember, this is the energy template of a human being. So while each one of you has this likely set up in a different way, right? Because I know in my chart I don't have a defined spleen, but suddenly today I do, right? So I'm being triggered in my own personal design by everything sitting here, because I don't normally have anything on the spleen. So fears and blocks and limitations and where I get stuck, survival energies are all up in my own face even today, if you will. And so for some of you who have an open spleen in your human design by, birth, today, not so, because you have all of this lighting up, right? We have the planet Mars sitting here at the gate 57, which is the fear of the future. We have the moon sitting at 44 this morning, which is the fear of the past repeating itself. And we have the sun sitting at gate 28, this one right here, which is the fear that all of this world is for naught, right? It's a purposelessness, the fear of struggle, and what's it all for. But if you look at this human design chart, most of the planets are down here, right? They're in the root center. On the root center, we have Saturn sitting at the gate 54, which is ambition or drive. We have the South Node sitting at gate 38, which is fight, right? What are we fighting for? And choosing our battles wisely, I guess you could say. And then we have the North Node sitting at gate 39, which is provocation. So the energy, and then right here, this is where Mercury and Venus are sitting, the gate 14. I just want to make sure I had that correct. It didn't look right in the picture. Right here, that moves up from the sacral energy to the identity center. But it's a hanging gate right now. It has nothing attached to it. So we have a lot of energy down in the lower quadrants of our human design energy centers. That's lower in your body even. It's very body aware. It's very much aware of where we are in the moment. Aware of where we are in the moment. But if you look up here, we have outer planets, Pluto, Neptune, and Jupiter, all in the energies of the head and the ajna, what we think about, what we're inspired by, our certainty or our uncertainty. So we're doing a lot of work right here in the human design chart. And in the wings, if you will, are these planets up here that are waiting for us to come up with a new way of thinking, right? A new way of being with our minds, a new mindset. And Pluto's at the gate 61. Remember, that was psychosis in the shadow. Neptune is sitting at 63, which is doubt in the shadow. Jupiter is sitting at gate 11. It just moved into gate 11. It was retrograde. Remember, last April, it had just moved into gate 11. Then it turned retrograde, went backward, and went back through some of the older energies, and now it's moved forward. So it's moving now again into the gate 11, where we get to fully experience growth now that is in enlightenment or geared toward enlightenment. Gate 11 is the gate that we think of as enlightenment. The gate 11 is brilliant ideas that are meant to be shared with humanity, but it is also where we move out of the shadow of obscuration or obscurity into the light, right? So we're moving into the light, and it's hanging there. So this is going to be a path that's different for everyone. excuse me, and something that's different for everybody, but every one of you now has this gate 11 defined. And that means all of us have this potential. It's just seated right here, right? It's coming in, likely from that galactic center that's being triggered. And hold on, I want to look at something really quickly. So the galactic center sits at 27 degrees right now. We have Jupiter and Ceres both at 22 and 23 degrees. Remember, on Friday, they were in a conjunction. We talked about that. And now first Ceres and then Jupiter will cut across the galactic center. We have a bunch of new seeding happening here. For those of you who are new to the morning show, the galactic center is sort of the source of the incoming codes, the incoming information that is being seeded on this planet for us to work with. And it's all just kind of coming in. And so we have new energy coming into the collective, while the physicality, the physical beings, are still contending with fear and shadows and survival energy and perseverance and endurance and defining what is worth fighting for. And so it's like a split in us, right? Our potential still lies here untapped, while the physical is busy letting go and releasing and moving through and recognizing the things that are going on in the fear field. So is it any wonder we feel like we're kind of being stretched, maybe pulled in two opposite directions? Then astrologically, you put a day like today where the sun is opposing Uranus, where there is so much potential for good that can happen. Those ahas, right? That aha energy, that surprise, that if we can deal with life with humor and see ourselves lightly, like weightless, then we can move on and propose that we become free. That was why I started the morning with the freedom energy, because if we have freedom, we have everything, right? Freedom gives us the ability to choose what we do, what we say, what we think, where we go, who we do it with. And that is where we're headed, right? That's the energy that we're really headed toward. Debbie, where do we get the new almanac? You can I'll post that. So let me make a note to myself to post the almanac. I have a personalized link for you to get it from, and I will post that for everybody. Oh, somebody put it up there, right there. I hope that's my link. Amy. Yes, it is. Awesome. Thank you so much. Amy, you're a doll. And Angela, good morning to you. And Linda says, I look so old. 75 years of pain on my face. I know it is vanity, but age is hard to accept. I get you. I really do. I'm not sitting at 75, but I'm sitting in my own, pity potty sometimes about age. And do I have enough time left to do all the things I want to do? Blah, 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 blah. But let me tell you, you've earned every line. You've earned every wrinkle, if you could say that. You've earned those gray hairs, right? You are the woman that we look up to, right? Because you've been through it all. Right? Our children look up to the elders for direction, for hope, and just to value the experience and the wisdom that you're carrying. So, yeah, your face shows the age, but of course, mine does, like double Chinsville. At 75, I hope I look as good as you do, Linda. So there, just reframe it for yourself. I look awesome for 75 because I think you look pretty darn good for 75, especially knowing some of the things that you've been through, Linda. All right. Thank you, sweetie. Angela says, I had a dream about aging last night and about bringing respect and wisdom to aging and the elders. I saw a blonde woman's face and was learning and expressing appreciation for this woman's age. You are reminding me. Well, Linda is a blonde-haired woman, and maybe she was coming to you in your dreams. Linda, Amy says she can see your inner beauty shining through. I love it. Rebecca, good morning. Debbie says, thank you, Amy. And I thank you, Amy. And Kristen Page, good morning. Amy Moore says, double chin is now called a lower halo. So I have a lower halo. I've been even thinking about raising my computer so the camera looks down at me this way. Am I really that vain? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. All right. So essentially then what we're seeing in this week's human design is this sort of stretching where outer planets are hosting new energies up in the head and the ajna that are just being seeded in, and the lower body's energies are hosting the survival stuff that we need to move through and that we need to let go of, along with the energy signature of enduring through it, persevering, being tenacious. There is a certain tenacity going through the field right now too. So, that might be another question for contemplation for yourself. What are you tenaciously holding on to that is not serving you, right? What are we as a nation, as a country, as a world, what are we tenaciously holding on to that is not serving us, right? What are we enduring through that, again, isn't serving us? It's a pretty deep question. And I don't know that this is even a question that you get to the answer in one day, right? You could probably get to a bit of it, but it may take a series of questioning yourself around what are you holding on to, right? The gate 44, the moon today triggers that in us. What are we holding on to that isn't serving us, right? The gate 44, while the gate 44 has this utterly beautiful potential to take the best of the past and connect it to the best of the now, it also has a tendency to want to carry baggage with it. And that baggage can sometimes be the fears, the grievances, the emotional hurts, the yeah but, right? The shoulda, coulda, wouldas, all of that stuff is in that baggage. And if we don't release that part of the baggage, then we're very weighted with it, and we can't really move into the future or even into the now clean and clear and ready to move, right? We just can't. So we do have to let go of all of that stuff and then be able to move forward. We have to, let go of that. We have to take the best of what we've learned, right, Linda? You've had 75 years worth of experience. Now, how do you let go of the crappy crappies and take those out of those experiences? What did you learn about yourself, and bring that into the now and share that with your grandchildren or your great grandchildren and the people around you? And, even, writing it here to the people that join us every morning. What does that wisdom mean to you? And, what are you willing to share about that as you go on? I think we already talked about this week. The sun and earth are at 28 and 27. 28 is finding totality in whatever it is that life throws you. The alternative is the shadow, which is purposelessness, that aimless wandering, right? Or that thrill-seeking behavior just to feel anything, something, right? So the sun sitting there at the gate 28 telling us that, we need to focus on being totally involved in what it is that we love. And Earth at gate 27 says, and once you plant those seeds, you've got to nurture them if you expect them to grow and to produce fruit, right? So you've got both a releasing and a of the old message, the old stuff, and then a complete and total embracing of what's new and what's to come, and then a nurturing of that energy so that it can grow and thrive. And ultimately then what we're letting go of all of this, as we're letting go of all this fear, it leaves us open as we get closer to that year of the evolutionary leap into the energy of the emotional center. And interesting, right now the emotional center completely open. There's nothing there right now. And so when we're looking over here at what happens in the spleen, or what happens here in the root center, these are the energies that we have to contend with. It's not even so much that we have emotions that are in reaction to these things. It's these things themselves, right? These fears themselves. How much longer do we want to go round and round and round in the energy of the spleen. The spleen's energy is great for intuition and instinct, knowing in the moment that there's danger, but not to dwell on the danger or the fear that the danger evokes. That's the problem that's happened for humanity. It isn't that, this energy is wrong or bad. Not at all. It's actually really good energy. It's kept you alive for, your lifetime. It's kept humanity alive for a millennium. But when we take that energy and we dwell on it, we dwell on that fear, it becomes in the very fabric of your cells, right? It becomes the very fabric of your reactions to what happens in the world. That's where there's the problem, right? That's when the energy at the spleen becomes problematic, because we're holding on to it. It's not that we feel it, we respond accordingly and then let it go. Oh, no. We take it in, we feel it, or we use it to keep reminding ourselves that, oh, that's dangerous, or, oh, that's scary, or, oh, last time I did that, I completely failed. I bombed that. So now I have to be more careful, more cautious, or I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to go in a different direction, one that's safer. So a lot going on in the spleen, correcting our trajectory, let's say, from being instinctive and intuitive in the moment, and then using those experiences versus using those experiences as something to hold on to fear the future with. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Let's see. Allison says, Janet, I forgot, what does black and red at a gate mean? Oh, great question, Allison. So if there is, well, this is a chart that's in the now, so it's only going to be black, but a black line hanging or a black line all the way across, it just means that the energy comes from the conscious line of from your birth date. So if you have a planet sitting there, it's coming from the birth date side or the soul purpose side of your human design. If it's red, then it's coming from the unconscious side or the design date, which is approximately 88 degrees or 90 days before you were born. And sometimes you're going to see those gates that have stripes, right? They may be red and black. If it's red and black, that means you have a planet sitting there from both the design column and the personality column. So from your birth date and from the date 90 degrees before you were born, or 90 days before you were born. So I hope that helps, right? Often that happens with the outer planets because they don't move as quickly, right? So they may hang around the same area during that transit. So sometimes, though, we pay attention. I have one client who has, I think it's four different planets or points at the gate 50 in her human design chart. And then one of an outer planet that sits there on both sides. So she's got so much focus on that gate, right? That the stripes kind of call your attention to where there's a lot of energy sitting in a spot that you need to take care of or be aware of. Okay, hope that helps. Good morning, Kathy Miller. Good morning, Karen Devine. Christine Erickson says, survival stuff, OMG. Now I understand what's coming up for me. It's definitely up for everybody. And the outer world reflects it to us in the things that happen over, in the news cycles, and our family members typically, or our friends, their response to things that you do, or your thoughts about what they might think if you do, that's part of the fear response. And then there's literally your own body that's reacting to the thought of doing something different or stepping outside of your comfort zone. So much going on, right, in that spleen arena. And we literally, remember, I thought we were going to be done with that November-ish 9th, I thought it was, or something. It's more like December, because we have to remember Mars is also right behind all of these planets and moving into those same gates. So he's sort of the pokey little puppy, if you will, at this point, and he will be batting cleanup through all of those gates. So we still have, energy around fear and survival and using our intuition and our instinct correctly. and letting go of the baggage of the past, and being free, right? It's that whole thing about being free. Black to black and red stripes. Yes. I'm not sure what you mean by the black to black. If that's a question, Allison, ask it again so I can answer that if it's a question. Kathy Miller says, good crispy morning, everyone. Still having weird dreams. Good deal. Lost in Portland, maybe a nightmare. Dreamed my granddaughter's job had transferred her to Salem. Had to ask her. So I think what you're saying there, Kathy, is that sometimes the dreams right now are so real that you're not sure, did this really happen? Or am I dreaming this? That tells you how thin the veils are getting, right? That, we're getting toward Halloween, right? Where the thinning of what's going on between the physical and the spiritual world. I love that. Petra, good morning. Allison says, thank you. Okay, good. If you have any other questions, go ahead and ask those questions. Right now, I'm done with what I was going to share with everybody this morning. So I'm going to pull us a card. I'm going to pull us 2 cards, one from each deck for what the week may bring and a spirit animal to guide us along. And here we go. What did I do this weekend? I had football games. It was a good football weekend. My grandson's team won. The Seahawks won. Got lots done. I had my granddaughter. She spent some time with me. Yeah, it was a good weekend. Okay, so this is for the week. Blessed. We are blessed in upside down mode, but it's okay still, right? We know that the protection mode is usually not bad at all. Blessed. Card number 22. So we have a power number for the week. And let's look at that. What does 22 blessed mean? And I want you guys to look at the face of this little fairy. If you can see her. Doesn't she look like Linda? A younger Linda? I love it. Linda. The blessed fairy. 22. Okay, so the card 22, blessed, says, something wonderful that is unearned and unexpected, grace that is unforeseen, a gift from spirit, an unforeseen gift from spirit. Gotta love that. And the protection message says, humility is called for now, as grace is an unearned gift. You didn't gain this by your own desires or actions. To be who you need to be, you can no longer do what you did. In a way, you have hit rock bottom, and what is required now is nothing less than total surrender. Then you will be blessed. Love it. Blessed. Okay, now let's look at an animal to get us through the week. Okay, animals for the week. Let's see if anybody has questions while I'm doing this. Nope, good. You guys want to hear something funny? Remember, this was the deck that for a while all I could draw was the dragonfly. Ever since I got my tattoo, I have not drawn the dragonfly. It's almost like having him tattooed on me is good enough. Oh my freaking God. Guess what I just drew? Dragonfly, upside down. Number 22. Dragonfly, number 22. Do you think we get a numerological message? Who are my numerologists out there? Remind us of what 22 is. I know it's a master number. I think it's the master builder number. It is very powerful. Dragonfly was upside down and it says, truth transcends illusion. Oh my God, I cannot make this stuff up. Why would I even bring up the dragonfly? And then it shows up. Okay, 22. Did I make that happen? 22, then it says, did you really think this world of the senses is all there is? From the hidden mystical realms, signs are being sent to you, but perhaps you have perceived separation and convinced yourself that you are on your own. Have you fallen into spiritual amnesia and forgotten your connection to a living, loving, always supportive universe? If so, rub the sleep out of your eyes, for Dragonfly Spirit is here to remind you of all the love and support available to you in every moment. There is an organizing principle underlying the events you have experienced, and Dragonfly Spirit can help you see it and trust that Spirit has your back. Let go of the illusion of chaos and randomness. Love is here, so follow the signs that appear serendipitously. As you pay attention to the magic all around you, you will know you are on the right track. That's so amazing. Marissa says, good morning. In and out of this broadcast, I have a little kid, an ill kiddo this morning. Oh, give him hugs for us, and may he or she get better quick. Kathy, Petra, Amy, blah, blah, blah. Linda, yes, everybody's saying they see that. Linda, isn't that fun? I like that card. Oh my God, that resonates. And Amy, ha ha ha, no coincidences. No, there are no coincidences. 2 cards, 22, both of them in protection. So we read the protection messages for both. I think there's magic afoot here this morning, right? Magic afoot. So, wow, I think that's a great place for me to leave you off this morning. Some announcements. So this is if you are part of the membership, tomorrow is the day we do the November webinar. We take a look ahead at the month, so you're in the know ahead of time what to expect for the month. And also Wednesday is my appearance on the Wisdom of the Ancients at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. East Coast time. I will be with Ian Shelley talking about dimensional astrology. We're going to be talking about how it is, the benefits of weaving all of these different types of astrology together, right? Astrology, human design, the gene keys, the Pleiadian-Earth energy astrology, and how it is that works in in defining who you are and in helping you to see all that you are and not just this, one-dimensional, three-dimensional being. And then that's it for me for the week, I think. Just those 2 appearances, tomorrow night and Wednesday night. And I've been working very diligently on the Wisdom of the Ancients because I had to get out of my own comfort zone in a couple of different ways. It was interesting, let's say that. And I'm really excited to be able to share all of that on Wednesday afternoon. So, or evening for you all at the East Coast. That's it for me today. I will see you all tomorrow morning. All right. Bye for now.